Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. All right, Hebrews, I know it's been a long time coming, you know what I'm saying? It's, man, work, and been having to stay busy. And but this is what I want to show, Hebrews. Much love to the Israelite Brotherhood family, and I pray that all Israelites is doing well, especially the Israelite Brotherhood family, those that's been tuning in and been learning, from the Israelite Brotherhood. It's important that, we stick together and stay together. All right, Israelites, man, this is what I want to explain. Fighting over the Israelite covenant been going on a long time. It's two groups of people that inherited our heritage, after we was chased out the land. Point blank. I explained this in a lot of videos, how we abandoned our heritage to Sephardi in the Ashkenazi group. You know what I'm saying? Ashkenazi, who was called Scythian, during the Babylonian Wars. Meaning how we Israelites, abandoned our heritage to them peoples for Egyptian religion, just point blank. And I kind of want to explain, what's going on. Some Israelites, viewing the Russia-Ukraine situation, you know what I'm saying? And I want to try to explain, some of these wars and some of these events that be going on that's kind of camouflage, but they origin go back to us Israelites breaking covenant when the two groups inherited our land. I explained how Ashkenazi got into our land during the Babylonian Wars. All right, what's most important is how the Sephardi groups got into our heritage. And I explained that in plenty of videos. How the Sephardi, who are Amorites, from Sephardim, and then how they got into our heritage as Amorites. And they're Amorites, but they got into our heritage as Amorites. And this what I want to note real quick, that the Amorites, empire, went, all the way, the Amorites were somewhere everywhere. They was most definitely in Spain with the Phoenicians. They used to take off from Lebanon and Syria. It's their main spot, and I want to explain this, what went on with Syria, and then how, everything is kind of camouflage. It's a proxy war been going on since we Israelites abandoned heritage. And it's like them folks sit in the two-head leaderships of the Jewish group, sit back in the promised land, and it's like they playing chess with everybody. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna explain how that Syria is an Amorite, Edomite controlled land, and how Ashkenazi tried to get in there and break them up by proxy through the United States, that's controlled, by, the Jewish state, We ain't no fools. We Israelites ain't no fools, and we know who controlled America. But we know who controlled America, and it's like I explain in countless videos how the Israelite heritage was wrestled and took away from the Sephardi Jews, and then it's gonna be where the proxy wars, is coming in at, because you got two groups, the people, that's been fighting for the Israelite heritage for a long time, and it ain't been documented, because they are responsible for the documentation, of Western history. You see what I'm saying? So they ain't gonna be too much documenting, the stuff that they be doing to each other. You know what I'm saying? And I'm finna explain what's going on. All right, we know that the Amorites got into our heritage. We know that the Amorites got into our heritage soon as we left Egypt under under Joshua, the Gabonites, when they tricked us, and then we would make them servants of the temple and whatever congregation or place of worship that we would get. Worst thing that we ever did. Worst thing that we ever did in the end, and how that they was in our heritage ever since then. All right, and then some more was placed in our heritage during the Assyrian troubles that we Yah worshippers would have when the northern kingdom was on Egyptian religion. You know, I explained in countless videos, man. I might make a video just entirely dedicated to how Egypt had to do trade on the other side of the promised land. Now, a lot of Israelites don't take that into consideration into their history and their knowledge is that Egypt had to do trade on the other side of the promised land, and we Israelites had a belief system that was different from theirs and that was in opposition to theirs. And you know, the tribe of Judah tried to hold on, but they eventually succumbed to the Egyptian worship, and then we was all chased out the promised land, you know, and then that's how Ashkenazi got in, because he come in under the name Scythian, you know, who ain't nothing but Ashkenazi. All right, the Egyptians had to do trade on the other side of the promised land, so man, we was up against a whole lot. And then you got the Mesopotamian folks, them Amorites in Mesopotamia and Babylon, worshiping the god's sons, the same as the Egyptians worship the god's sons, and then we just worship the creator. We right in the middle. And then, man, they all tried to get us up off the covenant, which they eventually did. You know, they eventually did. You know, but the Amorites played the most important part with getting us up off the covenant, is because they was kind of like kicking it with us and stuff, and we let them into our heritage during Joshua times, the Gabonite history. You know, those was Amorites, and then they would still be there, and then they would become the Nethinims, all the servants that Solomon had from all those other ethnic groups and peoples. They will be combined and become the Nethinims, and that's like the Amorites are the original Semitic people, and how they absorb, you know, all the other tribes. And it's like one Israelite, I mean, I forgot the brother name, you know, he always hollering, the Ammonites, those are the Ammonites. You know, I guess, I don't know, he want me to be wrong in my history or what, you know, thinking he corrected me, but ain't, man, you can't correct me. You know what I'm saying? Man, I do this and been doing this. I show in countless videos how the Ammonites and the Moabites were absorbed into the Amorites by Sihon, and way back, man, in Moses' days, probably before then, that the Ammonites and the Ammonites and the Moabites were absorbed into the Amorites. You know what I'm saying? The Amorites become chief men among them. You know what I'm saying? They was absorbed. So, you know, that's that on that. That's in the Tanakh, and they ain't finna go through all that, because that's, you know, that's a done deal. If you research it and read the Tanakh, you're gonna run across it. So I don't be wanting to always hearing it. The Ammonites, man, the Ammonites were absorbed into the Amorites, Sihon and them. You know, the giants been whooped them out and absorbed them and became their king, and them folks mixed. Well, those are the Amorites, the same group of stock of people that the Sephardims and Sephardists, you know what I'm saying, are from. All right, so, you know, us doing the covenant right in the middle, man, and them Egyptians trying to do trade on the other side, they had to keep us on their religion, which doomed us in the end, you know. But doing all that mix up that we was caught up in, these group of peoples come from Babylon in 722 BC. There was just another group of Amorites, a second wave of them. So they there before Ashkenazi. You see what I'm saying? They there before Ashkenazi, meaning probably about a good 600, about a good 400 years. Man, they there, you know what I'm saying? I showed that we was only in the promised land for 818 years or something like that in one of the videos. Well, the Sebhardis, who are Amorites, were in our heritage, men before Ashkenazi pull up, probably about a good 400 years. Five, but we're really longer than that, because since Exodus, I can go and look dates up and all that old stuff, but you Israelites kind of know. I got a chart in a video explaining the time and the date line, but let me see if I could just pull some of this up in a Tanakh. Probably could help a little bit. Some of you Israelites that don't understand. Some of you Israelites well thoroughly researched, you know what I'm saying, and I be appreciating that, because sometimes they ain't got to go through a whole lot of verses pointing out every single thing, because you already familiar with the history already. You already familiar with the history already. But let's see here with Joshua. When this gonna be? I got it marked down. Alright, let's do the run. Alright, the book of Joshua is gonna be from 1406 to 1375. So that's a long time for them Amorites to have been in our heritage from the time that Ashkenazi pulled up in 588 BC. And that these other folks would have been in our heritage, man, a good 700 some years. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. That they'd have been in our heritage a long time. Alright. Let me see. Look, alright. I believe I can show. Let's see what Joshua and the Amorites. Look, see the Gabonites. Look. And it come to pass when all the kings were on this side of the Jordan, in the hills and the valleys, and in the coast and the great sea over against Lebanon, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, that they all gathered themselves, met together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. Our enemies always get together with one accord, and that's why come we being defeated and devoured, is because the Israelites refuse to work with each other and have respect for each other. And oh man, but our enemies able to get together with one accord, and that's like here in our community, our enemies get together with one accord. You know what I'm saying? With denying us everything. Oh man, so one time I pull up at the place, I ain't even really selling no food. I just pull up, and dude run out screaming, "You can't sell no food here." Oh, devils. And then they didn't even sell no food. But that's how they is. And then they move into our community and they ain't even been there. Just pull up. But get to tell us where we can go and when we can't go. Yeah, these same folks right here. Alright. So, and when the inhabitants of Gabon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and Ar, they did work willingly and went and made as if they had been ambassadors. They tricked us men and got into our heritage. Those gonna be the Amorites. It's the same as the Sephardim. So then they been in our heritage a long time. Since us exiting. Alright? And then when we get chased out the land by the Babylonians, they didn't leave, because these peoples right here was Babylonians, the same as the Amorites that we didn't destroy in the Gabonites. These folks were Amorites, so then they would be in our land before Ashkenazi pull up. You got to always remember that Ashkenazi pull up during the Babylonian wars. That's his interest into the promised land. So he been there a long time. Some of you Israelites be crying mean about some khazars or some like the khazars. Men Ashkenazi been in our land men before the khazars. You know what I'm saying? And how the khazars are late comers. And then how that, the Sephardi's been in our heritage a long time, and they got pigmentation, and how Israelites get confused by them all around the world. All around the world. When the Israelites see a pigmented person claiming to be an Israelite that didn't go into the transatlantic slave trade, and the Israelite get confused and say, that's us, that's us, that's us. And them folks don't be us, it be these folks right here and their descendants. Their descendants, and I'm finna show how they moved to other lands long time ago. Meaning they went to China and set up. And they got a special part in Russia where they done been given land and so forth. And then I can show that, man, if them folks got into the educational system and into the politics, then it's a wrap. They know how to kick back. You don't see them folks over here in America on front line doing nothing. And then how everything can be done from the back in the control of finances, and how that they are masters of that. You see what I'm saying? And then I can show that what happened in Syria, we already know that the Western powers in the Western nations is controlled by Ashkenazi. The Eastern nations is controlled by the Sephardi's. And those are the two systems that's taking place under the folks' nose that people don't even have a clue what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's like how these Eastern nations is want to go back to a gold back economy. All right, man, that's all the Amorites been dealing with is gold from ancient times. So it's kind of logical that they would want to go to a gold back economy. You know what I'm saying? It's logical that, they would go to the Eastern nations. This is where the Sephardi's flourished, and this is where they been hanging out all in these lands, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. And especially, from the Babylonian days, man, I could show that that's like India, Judaism, and then whenever you see the name Judaism, a title Judaism, you know that it come from the Babylonian scribes and their schools that they had in Babylon, and their version of the Israelite heritage and what they say that it is, from them inheriting it and then them expressing it as being their own, and then how Judaism is their expression of what they consider the Israelite heritage is, from them living among us at one time and then adapting and getting over into our heritage, and then them able to say this is Judaism. You see, and this is, it went all the way over into India. You know what I'm saying? One of the first religions to go into India. So that should tell you something. And then, all these nations and so forth, where the people got pigmentation, they gonna let the Amorites have Hardy in. And then, once he get in, he gonna know how to manipulate, you know what I'm saying, the economy and everything, from being the Babylonian custodians for the whole Babylonian history and civilization, as well as before Babylon, going back to Sumer in Akkad, the Akkadian civilization, how the Amorites were all there, and all those civilizations' demise come from associating with those folks and peoples coming in to get them, coming down from the north and so forth. But those Amorites been did trade and been in those lands. And then that's how I explain how the Sephardim, those are going to be Arab Jews, but what they call Arabic Jews, but they are all the same. That they are all Amorites. They all Edomite Amorites. This is the Edomite. This is the Edomite, strong Edomite branch of the Amorite Sephardic groups. You know what I'm saying? And then this the real the red wrath. You know what I'm saying? And then how them associating with the Arab is how Islam sprang about. You know what I'm saying? From associating with them. You know, and I explain how can't our religion come up off no people that are not the children of Israel and that didn't go through the curses and didn't break the covenant and get chased off, and how that they cannot be the representation of the Israelites. So can't no religion spring up off them that's supposed to be holy and get a world salvation, as we see how those religions function. You know, the same as Christianity. You know, I prove over and over how Ashkenazi, you know, create Christianity, and then that's why Christianity kind of like embrace a Caucasian looking Israelite heritage, you know, from Adam all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Is because Ashkenazi, you see what I'm saying? And Ashkenazi created Christianity, and it reinforces Ashkenazi Israelite heritage. And I explained how Ashkenazi got into the Israelite heritage during the Babylonian Wars under the name Chaldean. It was Scythians. I got plenty of videos going into this. This is documented history. All right? This is documented history. All right? So we know that they came during the Babylonian Wars. They the reason, you know, we can't get mad at Ashkenazi because Almighty Yah told Ashkenazi, the nations from the north, men to come chase us out the land, and they fulfilled Almighty Yah's mission. And then so I walk on, I say, I ain't mad about them being on the land. They can stay on the land with us. We gon' me and the Israelite Brotherhood gonna help them keep, you know what I'm saying, they can have strong association with the Israelite Brotherhood, meaning that, you know what I'm saying, they ain't mad at them and I'll embrace them, and we can be brothers and cool and everything, because Almighty Yah told them to be there. But he didn't tell these folks meant to be here. These folks swindled us out from the time that we left Egypt. From the time that we left Egypt, we got swindled out of our heritage, fooling with them, and they are the Gabonites. And the Gabonites are the Amorites. You know what I'm saying? In the bit. Man, I think I showed it in the video, but let me go to Sam. Man, I think it's Samuel 1. Man, it's one thing, man. If you don't stay busy in the Tanakh, man, man, you got to be searching for scriptures that should be at the top of your head, and that's like, man, what I'm going through, man. Be doing so much other stuff, but let's see if we can pull this up about them Gabonites. Let me see first thing about them Gabonites being Amorites. Let's just go back to the original. Yeah, man, they tricked us as soon as we come out of Egypt. They got in our heritage. And that's like I made a video, man, about how all our enemies think strategic and how Pharaohs think strategic. Where them Amorites was thinking strategic when they let a group come into our heritage, and the other ones played, you know what I'm saying, like they was, well, they didn't play like they was gonna fight us, they was gonna fight us, but then the other ones come in trying to submit. All right, it's 2 Samuel to show that the Gabonites are Amorites. 2 Samuel 21. All right. All right, here it is. And the king called the Gabonites and said unto them, Now the Gabonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remain of the Amorites. But of the remain of the Amorites. Did you see that? In the remain of the Amorites, man, they tricked us, man, and made us use Almighty Yah's name not to destroy them. And then, once we use Almighty Yah's name not to destroy them, then, you know what I'm saying, we was locked in. We was locked in. And we couldn't, take Almighty Yah's name in vain. Especially with Almighty Yah presence, being on the earth. Then guiding us and that how we couldn't take his name in vain. And then how that they got into our heritage, and those were the Amorites. And then they become the Nethinims. And then, they will be there. And then, they learned our heritage. And then they was there under King Hezekiah, the strangers. And then they got placed in our land in 722 BC. It's like a reinforcement, and these ones are where capitalism come from, because they come from Sipper and Babylon, and that's what capitalism got it started. And the whole administrative, when they say that America is Babylon and identical, it's identical to the whole Babylonian structure, all the way down to the naming of the streets. Is because the Sephardists come to America first. The Amorite noble families came here first when they was kicked out of Spain. One of their headquarters, you know what I'm saying? Spain. And then, they came over to the Americas and set the whole Babylonian system up, even though it got wrestled out of their control, but they set it up. And then these folks were set up in our land in 722 BC while we was on Egyptian religion. We was on Egyptian religion. And then they got set up in our land. And then when we get driven out, they still there. Let me see, 2 Kings 17, verse 24. All right. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutter and from Abel and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. All right, when we get chased out the land, as I showed the Israelites, it wasn't no 10 lost tribes that they would be there. And then Ashkenazi would come into the land, and now the show is over with for the Israelite heritage, and it was over with during the Babylonian Wars. As the book of Jeremiah is constantly documented that the covenant was broken, and that it was over with. That covenant that we got from Egypt, we couldn't never do off the promised land anyway, off the covenant land. We couldn't do the covenant that Moses gave us, because it required us having sovereignty in having the land. And once we was driven off the land, we would eventually go into slavery, as the curses calls for, as eventually did happen. So, man, the Tanakh history is real. All right, the new covenant. All right. Behold, the days come. This is Jeremiah 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Elohim, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them. See, that covenant we broke. That's why we in captivity in America, in a strange land. And every Israelite know that we didn't get here on our own, selling over here, and that how we was brung here by ships, just like the curses say. All right, we would get kicked out the land for Egyptian religion. We couldn't stop doing the Egyptian religion. The Egyptians were smart, man. I even showed countless times how they even had the tribe of Ephraim running to Assyria, taking oil and stuff for them and bringing oil back for them because they couldn't come across the promised land as long as the tribe of Judah is Yah worshippers, which that they was all the way up to King Josiah got killed. The tribe of Judah tried to hold on, even though they had a few, bad kings here and there, but they mostly tried to hold on. And then, that would keep the Egyptians at bay. And then the Egyptians, man, they got their foot in the door. Man, I explained in plenty of videos how the Egyptians just tricked us left and right. Left and right, man. We got tricked. Man, we basically get tricked by everybody right now today. That's like now today in captivity, our enemy's enemy should be our friend. But in the Israelites' mentality, our enemy's enemy is our enemy too. Is how Israelite think. That's why that verse is Israel a homeborn slave. That's what that mean. That's just what that mean, because the Israelites' enemy shouldn't be our enemy. He should be our friend because he our enemy's enemy. But right now today, you'll have an Israelite get up, man, on national TV because they get a paycheck, man, and they'll denounce, you know what I'm saying, our enemy's enemy. And we still in captivity. And these folks done held us in captivity. Not one time have they offered us sovereign land to redeem what happened to us in the transatlantic slave trade. And then I show in countless videos how that we are not all the Africans that they want us to believe that was enslaved. Like they just pluck Africans up from everywhere and then enslaved them. So we just a mixed people and there's no specific destination of where we come from. Oh man, them folks full of it. They full of it. But here is the Egyptians tricking us, the tribe of Ephraim. Ephraim feedeth on wind and followed after the east wind. He daily increases lies and desolation, and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and all is carried into Egypt. All is carried into Egypt. Now that's a bad thing. We ain't gonna never be able to do the covenant. We ain't gonna never be able to do the covenant, and we never could do the covenant because our ancestors, especially the tribe of Ephraim, kept in strong Egyptian connection when Almighty Yah had mostly said this. Look, and the Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children Israel, and say unto them, and I am the Elohim, your Yah. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinance. You see? But we never could stop worshiping the Egyptian religion. And then that would allow our enemies to get that would allow the groups to get our heritage. And for us to get chased out the land because we never could stop doing the Egyptian religion. And the book of Jeremiah sums it up. The book of Jeremiah sums it up, how we told the prophet Jeremiah that, hey man, we don't even want to be on the promised land. We don't even want to be doing the covenant no more, and how we going into Africa to worship their religion. Alright, we gone out the picture now. That happened. Everybody gone. Let me show you that. Everybody gone during the Babylonian Wars. This is it. This is it right here. Everybody gone during the Babylonian Wars. And all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and come to Egypt, for they was afraid of the Chaldees. That's Ashkenazi under the name Scythian. If you look up and see who was with the Chaldeans and made up the Chaldean nation, I already proved that they had been took the Chaldean nation over from Assyria. And then how did they come into the promised land? And then how did they were settled in Scythopolis. And that's who Jesus mostly had dealings with in what's called the Discopolis cities. The Discopolis cities, Jesus would have dealings, you know what I'm saying, mostly with them folks in the Discopolis cities. And then that's where Jesus spent all his time at, in the Discopolis cities. And that's who he converted and so forth. You know, this would be them chasing us out during the Babylonian Wars, Ashkenazi, making us get on down. Because we kept saying we wanted to do Egyptian religion. And I got plenty videos, explaining the arrowheads and all that type stuff. Scythian arrowheads that only they made was found all in the promised land, everywhere. Plenty of arrowheads all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And they still finding them today. Now, we going out the picture. Let me show us being some fools and how the Egyptians tricked us real good in order for them folks to get our heritage. Now, you know, if the Sephardics, man, is in our heritage, man, before Ashkenazi, and then he been associating with us, that, you know, the mother folks gonna try to get rid of them. They gonna try to get rid of them, and they gonna try to do it on the slick side. He gonna know that they are not the children of Israel, because he chased the children of Israel into Africa. You see what I'm saying? During the Babylonian Wars, a lot of organizations, their secret history and so forth, man, consist of this knowledge. You know, all right. He gonna know that he is not the original Israelite. He gonna know that he is not the original Israelites. So they gonna create groups to fight each other. They ain't gonna go head up. Because that's gonna expose everything. Everything gonna be exposed then if they go head up. So they ain't gonna go head up, because everything gonna be exposed then. They gonna be destroying the whole. What would be the Israelite heritage would disappear off the earth if them two groups got to fighting. And us being out of heritage, not knowing that we the Israelites, and all confused and messed up. And if them two groups was fighting each other, man, that'd be the end of it. People would want to start questioning, well, where they come from and how they end up fighting, and then it'll have to be a truthful explanation, man, of why they fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? And look, man, it go to this. Look, they'll even tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's like I explained that Ashkenazi took control of the Israelite heritage from the Sephardics. And it's like when that Hitler war was going on and them folks had to put on yellow badges and so forth, Sephardic and Sephardim, they've been up in Ashkenazi lands and Japhetic lands for a long time. And sometimes they get cleaned out and get chased out. You know what I'm saying? They get chased out. And then when they get chased out, this is where they go, east. And they went east, man. It's like it's a bunch of Jews in Iran. It's Sephardic Jews in Iran. In the Iranian state is not got no conflict with them. They partners. They cool, they partners. But what Iran got a conflict with is Tel Aviv. That's Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi control the promised land. Ashkenazi control the promised land. And I'm dealing with the family that made it possible for them to get in there, men that control the promised land. You know, hey, it is what it is, you know, and man, they might be in the holdings with me in Hebron, but we already know how that's gonna work out. You see what I'm saying? That man, hey, man, I got to pull all straws. The Israelite Brotherhood pulling all straws. But like I say, I ain't mad at Ashkenazi, man. I got a little bit of understanding of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like us in captivity. We basically doom ourselves by being the way that we are towards each other, that go back all the way back to the biblical days. It's documented how we kill, rob, and steal, and hateful towards each other. We don't be like that towards the other ethnic groups, but towards each other, we real mean and low down, and this has been our punishment. We supposed to get clear of that type of mentality when we break free men of this captivity. You know what I'm saying? It's like the brothers and sisters that's called blacks, African American, and Negroes. Ah, man, they still sleep, and they don't have a clue what's going on, and it's like day to danger. But us Israelites, men that know who we are and know that we the children of Israel, and we shalom each other and greet each other, we brothers. We brothers and sisters, and we united and with one spirit, and we dare not do each other wrong, because we know where we come from and what our people been through. You know, that's another video me and them will make about that. All right. We know that, a whole lot of Sephardi or Sephardic Jews went east, especially during Hitler's time. Oh man, they got on down and scrambled because the whole Western, show is controlled by Ashkenazi. Let me show Ashkenazi wrestling control from them. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna tell you. They gonna tell you. All right. The Sephardic idea has always been understood in terms of political moderation and community unity. Rarely did Sephardim lose their internal cohesion. That is, until the process of cultural erosion set in. Look, cultural erosion set in following the Ashkenazi lead. And then this is a Sephardi saying this. I remember, I forgot the Sephardi name that wrote this, but he was real furious that Ashkenazi got control of the customs, and that they more or less have to do what they say in a sense. All right, following the Ashkenazi League, Sephardim abandoned their traditional culture and adapted to the fractious Ashkenazi model. Under the rubric of a single Jewish nation, the Sephardi particularity with its culture, genius, and sophisticated social morals has become a lost value. The Ashkenazi culture, with its deeply unsettled relationship to the larger world, has now become the Jewish standard. See, so them folks, man, they ain't like that. They ain't like the Israelite heritage being taken from them, as I just showed how the Sephardi groups was in our heritage way before Ashkenazi pull up. You see what I'm saying? Way before the Scythians pull up, and how the Sephardims are Amorites. And some will try to document them in 722 BC, but I show that they Amorites and that they gonna go all the way back to Joshua days getting into our heritage. See, so if them two groups got our heritage, then it's one of them gonna want to be dominant. One of them gonna want to be the boss. And we see that, Ashkenazi got a more of a aggressive tendency, especially being Scythians, man. If you know who the Scythians is, man, in history and how they function, man, and how they got down, then you know that it would eventually happen to the Sephardists, who are Edomites and Amorites. All right, and then look here, Israelites, this is what I want to show. Now, I want to show how that these groups went to China, India, Russia. Them folks got nuclear bombs. They got the redness in their flag showing that the Edomites is there and stuff. And then how that China Jews been there for a long time and even got into the cultural tradition, and then kind of like, how that they could come get into a society and merge in, and you can't even pinpoint them no more, because now they got regular Chinese names. You know what I'm saying? Chinese names. That's like over here in Americas, man. When they come over here, man, they change their Jewish name, man, and get regular, European, non-Jewish names, but they still be practicing, their religion and so forth. Well, we got to show enough think that the ones in China did the same thing. The ones in Russia did the same thing, and the ones in India did the same thing. They gonna hide and stuff. They gonna have lodges and stuff where they meet up, and then they can identify themselves in their little secret lodges and meetings and stuff. But in the public eye, they gonna be looking like everybody else, and they gonna have power and get in high positions. But when they go to that lodge, they gonna know who they is, and they gonna embrace each other and love each other because they got the same struggle, and then their struggle is continuing. Well, those folks, man, got into China real good. Look. All right, let's read some of this. Look. And Jews and Judaism in China is predominantly composed of, look, Jews and Judaism in China are predominantly composed of. Do you know what that mean? Do you know what that mean? It's the Amorites. Them the ones that got into our heritage first. All right? And their descendants. Their descendants are there. And, you know what I'm saying, Ashkenaz are going to pull up later on. But look, the Mazahazari Jews, those are Edomites. Those are Edomites. And look, I got a list of them right here. Look, the ones that's mixed with Edom, straight out. Straight out got Edom in them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Jews of Western Africa, Megaherby descent, especially the Jewish community in Nigeria, Igbos. You know what I'm saying? They all come off of Yemeni stock. The Yemenite Jews and stuff, they're going to be Edomites that was converted by John Harnicus, as well as getting into our heritage way before then. But you see, look, the Yemenite, Moroccan, the East African Jew, look, the Tamanin, the Sephardim, the Limba, the Ethiopian, you know what I'm saying, all them is men contaminated with Edom, and they on a different system. They try to get down different than Ashkenazi do. All right, but you see how that them folks went to China. Look, and the Jewish community manifests a wide range of Jewish culture traditions, and it compares the full spectrum of Jewish religious observers. Look, you know what I'm saying? They try to say that they got broke down in size and so forth. But as you read, you're going to see that them folks got into Chinese educational system. And it's probably how the Chinese educational system got developed in Chinese through them, being that they are descendants from the Babylonian scribes, and they will have the writing ability and the ability to set up governments and function governments. And they've been doing it for a long time. And, going all the way back to Samaria, the Sumerian culture, the Akkadian, and then the Babylonian culture, and then the few others in between then. Man, that China gonna be affected by those folks. And then them folks banking wizards. And then they love gold. They real crazy about gold. And then they can look Chinese, and you wouldn't even tell that there was a Sephardic Edomite. But they got that red flag. Real big red flag. Like Russia got that real big red flag. And we know that Russia nation is composed of Asians. And the Asian nations, it got a large influx of Edomite Sephardics, especially when they was under their trading guild named the Randanites. The Randanites. And if you look, man, look, you see all them lines, men crisscrossing everywhere. Look, they will set up shop. And if they set up shop, man, they gonna set up governments. Look, all in them lands. Look, big and heavy in the Chinese dynasty. Big and heavy in the Chinese dynasty. Big and heavy in the Chinese dynasty. So then them folks gonna be able to the rabbi gonna be able to play proxy wars. And this is where the proxy wars come from, is that them folks went to them nations, man, and developed them governments and so forth. And then the Western governments and so forth is developed by Ashkenazi and so forth. And then they kick back in the background, and then they have each other fighting against each other. All the wars gonna be coming about, man, because them, if you investigate the surface of it, you know what I'm saying? If you investigate the surface of it, oh man, this gonna be the cause. And all these wars go back to us Israelites breaking heritage. And then let me show us breaking heritage. I'm the light. 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 This what allowed them all this stuff to take place. But China, Russia, India, especially India, got a whole bunch of Sephardi Edomite Jews. And then, they will form the East Bloc. In the West Bloc, the Western nation blocks, is controlled by Ashkenazi. We know whoever controlled the banking system. See, them folks real smart. Them folks, the Sephardim gonna be real smart and know that you can control the people, the land, and the food source and everything from the money source. From the money source. And you got ancient families in China that's got men been having tons of gold for a long time. That's gonna be them folks right there. That's gonna be them folks right there. And then they want to go back to a gold-back economy. Man, that's challenging the West, Ashkenazi, who functioning by paper. They got everybody tied up through paper. It's where the proxy wars come from. Them two groups fighting over the Israelite heritage and then developing groups and organizations off that from long time ago, man, all the way up to now, to where the people can't see what's going on. That's like the Crusader Wars. The Crusader Wars wasn't nothing but Ashkenazi and the Sephardists fighting through religion. Fighting through religion, proxy religion. You know what I'm saying? That's why I explain also how Ashkenazi is surrounded now. And then how that they power, mean, is on the wane. But how that placing us in Hebron, placing the Israelite Brotherhood in Hebron would reverse their losses and change the whole game around. And we can be, in the Tanakh show that we're going to have an everlasting sovereign land forever. And how that they could be a part of that. But if they don't, how the Red Wrath finna get them before long. In Russia is most definitely hooked up with China, and I showed that the Sephardists got, you know what I'm saying, in China. Well, let me show you how Russia gave the Sephardists some land in the east part, gave them some land. Ain't nobody never gave the Israelites nothing. Gave them some land. Gave them some land in the east. And then how that, we don't know what them folks doing over there. And then they in all the eastern nations. They in all these eastern nations. All of them. They in all of them. The Sephardists, the Sephardim from long time ago. From long time ago. They gonna be in the background and they gonna control the politics. They gonna control the politics and they gonna control which way did the country go. Well, and if you read, the Russian history, Russia placed a whole bunch of them, in different parts, of the East, in different territories that Russia had under its Soviet Union, and a little bit before then, when the Khazars or something like that was running around and stuff. Them Russian nobles and stuff. All right. Here's another place where they at. Now these folks right here. Now this land was given to them. and this land is prosperous and everything. And then this is where they set them, me and a whole bunch of Jews up there. This is their land. See, look, and this is gonna be the Sephardists getting set here because Ashkenazi mostly stayed in the west part, but the east part was populated by the Sephardists. So, you know, Russia is going to be in tune with them, and they going to have the power. See what I'm saying? They got that red flag, and we know that Ashkenazi don't control Russia. Because look what happened to Ukraine. Ukraine is an Ashkenazi, I mean, it is a Khazar Ashkenazi homeland, ancient homeland. And then, you know, this is how you can see the proxy war, how when they Ashkenazi tried to take over Syria, bust Syria up and divide it all up and stuff, well, they just went in and got Ukraine. You see, Syria is the Amorites' homeland. That's their homeland from long time ago, as well as Babylon. But Syria, they main spot. This is where all the ancient Amorite graves and so forth at. And then they try to disturb that and break it up and get power over that. Oh man, they flipped the switch. And you see what Russia went and did and broke Ukraine up. And breaking it up, this is Ashkenazi old homeland, solid homeland. Man, they got their folks there, man. Man, they folks buried there, been buried there. You know, and Ashkenazi been in, man, this is Ashkenazi homeland. This is as hard as Ukraine. And now, Russia done coming up, the Red Wrath, and then busted them up. You see, Germany is their other spot too. Germany is their other spot. Germany is a Scythian held land. Ukraine, a Scythian held land. This is what the Khazars was. This was Ashkenazi ancient land. Well, it was taken over now by a Russian. Them bust them up. Bust them up. See, ain't nothing but a proxy war. It's a proxy war, like all the wars gonna be proxy wars. And then especially when it's the East and West thing. When they terminology come with that East and West, that's Ashkenazi in the West and the Sephardi's in the East. And they've been having the fights for a long time. And then they fighting, men is going to be over our heritage. Us Israelites breaking heritage and then abandoning our heritage to them folks, man. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then, you know, that's like now today, you know, man, it's a possibility that we Israelites, man, can be set free. Because if Ashkenazi make the wrong move towards the Edomites and then it trigger World War III, then we Israelites are in the 400-year prophecy that Almighty Yah said that he will free us from the Egyptian bondage. And we know that Egypt is just a name for bondage. It's just a name for bondage. And then how that if we get if America get destroyed, then it ain't gonna be nobody over us. We ain't gonna have no police, no military, nobody over us. And we ain't been free since the transatlantic slave trade. We ain't been free from a government's control since the transatlantic slave trade. And it's about time we get some freedom. And I believe Almighty Yah finna bring it on us. I believe he finna bring it on us. All it's gonna take is for Ashkenazi to start having it out with them Eastern nations. He ain't finna be able to stop China from doing what it wanna do in Russia, in India, in Iran. And look, I just explained in the video how Ashkenazi about to hurry up and come on and help set the Israelite Brotherhood up and help us get established, because all the Arabic nations, men, they see that the West can't do nothing with Russia and that they ain't gonna do nothing. They did how those Edomite nations is finna come up under, directly up under China in Russia influence, knowing that they finna be fully protected, knowing that America don't want no war. Men, America don't want no war because the folks that lead and run this country know that we'll be free. If they go to war, means our freedom. If they go to war, means our freedom. America's guaranteed to lose because we're the Israelites and we waking up and we want to be free. And we don't look at this country as our homeland and somebody we should be loyal to, because our ancestors was kidnapped and we was enslaved. And then we realized that we the Israelites, after our enemies been hiding this history and distorting history for a long time, and how we done overcame that, and we could positively show that we the Israelites. We ain't got no loyalty to this country. Now, we can have some loyalty to this country if this country helps set us in Hebron. If it helps set us in Hebron, then we can have some loyalty. But if it don't help us set up in Hebron and get some sovereignty and want to just hold us in bondage till we get destroyed, then man, we pray our enemies destroy America swiftly and quickly. Which it look like anything can happen, because them folks, Russia told them that if you do anything that is going to trigger a nuclear war, and that he got his forces on standby. So all it's going to take, men, is a little pushing him, and he going to send a bomb over here to America, and we going to be free. And we know in the book of Malachi how he say, pray in the flames. It's quite a few verses with the prophets telling us to pray in the flames, and how it's going to be some flames this time, and how it won't be no water, but it's going to be flames this time. Well, them flames just could be that nuclear bomb getting over here and taking their power away from being over us Israelites. That's all it's going to do. That's all they want to do, is keep us in bondage, and then so they can continue to rule. See, America rule and strength going to come from having the Israelites in bondage. You know what I'm saying? That's like all them wars that America won. America had our spirit, our energy caught up in them wars, and how we, thinking that we're going to get some justice if we fought for the war and prove that we citizens and just as good as everybody else. And we seen the outcome of that war after war. No progress. And how we, matter of fact, the immigrants that come over here and have risen above us, just like the Tanakh say, how the stranger in your neighborhood will get above you, and you'll come down lower and lower, and then how they'll get higher and higher. And then that's been happening to us. Right now today, men in our community, how we can see those prophecies come to pass. Come to pass. Yeah, all they got to do is start something with them folks, and them folks say they're going to let them have it. And then they know if they let them have it, that we're going to be free. That we're going to be free, and we ain't going to have nobody over us. We ain't going to have nobody over us. Ain't going to be nobody over us when America fall and it loses governmental structure. There's nobody over us. We ain't going to never have nobody over us again. And we're going to the promised land. Now that the folks over there ain't gonna like, cause we coming back. We coming back. We coming back. Man has already stated how we coming back. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing can stop us from coming back. Man has already wrote. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Elohim of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So we know what that is. We know what that is. That's that nuke. That's that nuke. And then if they so much as touch them Edomites, That them Edomites ready to get it on now. Them Edomites ready to get it on now. So what I've been telling Ashkenazi is that if Ashkenazi set us up in Hebron, that's gonna be throwing a thorn in the Edomite side, and then how that'll change the events around. We can stop all the wars. It won't be no bomb in Tel Aviv. It ain't gonna be no bomb in Tel Aviv when we get there and get set up in Hebron, because we're gonna let the world know that, hey man, we cool with Ashkenazi. So ain't no sense of bombing them no more. And then all the stuff that done been did in the past, it's gonna stay in the past, and how we starting a new future. Put your arms down. Put your guns and your bombs down. You know, and that's just how the Tanakh got it going. All it's going to take for us to get set up in our place or start moving in that direction. But if Ashkenazi want to save themselves from the red wrath, from them Edomites that control them eastern nations, if Ashkenazi want to save himself, all they got to do is come associate with the Israelite Brotherhood, help get me set up in Hebron, and I'm gonna make sure that, you know what I'm saying, that you're there and that you become part of, you know, what we established. All right, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. You know, we already know that the Western nations, man, is controlled by Ashkenazi, and that the Eastern nations is controlled by the Edomite Sephardists, and that all the fighting in between with them two groups is going to be them manipulating and pulling strings in the nations that they control, in the peoples and educational system that they develop, and how they, you know, got the folks fighting and stuff, and the folks don't even know it. They think they fighting over something. They don't know it's a proxy war, and been a proxy war going on since we Israelites abandoned our heritage. And if you break all fights and wars down and get to the root of it, you're going to see that that's basically the cause of it. And when they go into other nations and set up shop, them two groups, then they set up two different camps, and them two different camps fight each other. And that's been going on a long time. That's been going on a long time. All right, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Much love to the Israelite community, and it ain't going to be too long for the headquarters go up. I know I've been saying it for a long time, but, you know, I pray to Almighty Yah that it go on and come on in before long, so we can go on and get this show on the road. Shalom, Hebrews. Much love to the Israelite Brotherhood family, and I pray that everybody is safe and well.